Okay, we're going to begin applying style to our HTML elements. And there are three ways, and I need to show you all three for completeness sake so you have understanding. But the first two ways that I'm going to show you are inefficient and should be avoided. There may be a case where you would do it this way, but I don't anticipate that we'll do this anywhere in this entire tutorial. And so the first is called inline styling, which means we're going to add specific styling to a specific header in a specific HTML file. And so in this H1 tag, I'm going to add inside this opening tag the word style, and I will put equals and then double quotes. And inside these double quotes, we will add the CSS code. And so I'm just going to put in color colon blue. And remember, we separate our CSS elements by semicolon. And then let's put margin left equals or colon 20 pixels. And I'm going to save that. And we'll run that, and you can see that it moved 20 pixels, added 20 pixels to the left, and turned it blue. Now, what is the problem with this? Why would we not want to do that? Well, let's say we have a large website, and you've gone to web pages or websites, and you've seen how big they can be. And so imagine that for every element we added style, and then the person we're working for, or it's our own web page, and we say, you know, I really don't like blue. I'd like to change them all to aqua. Well, now you've got to go back and change every single one of those inline stylings to aqua. And if you're adding padding to the left, if you're centering it, if you're styling the fonts, it just becomes unmanageable and virtually impossible to support. So we're going to get rid of that. We're not going to ever do that again unless we have a very, very good reason. So let's get this back to the way it was. The second way that we can add styling is through an internal style sheet. In other words, the whole style sheet is contained inside of the HTML file. And so I'm going to write an element style and close that off. And inside here, I'm going to add my CSS code. So I'm going to put it inside of the curly braces, which we learned in a couple lessons ago. And I will put in color. Let's change this to, let's go with red, semicolon, and let's put this time margin left 60 pixels, semicolon. Let's save this. We'll run this. And now you can see there's 60 pixels to the left, and it has turned to red. Again, there may be more uses for this than the previous way, where each HTML file has styling included in it. But I think once you start working with the best practice, you're not going to ever use this, because with the best practice, we can apply styling across the entire web site. This way, we're just applying it to this specific HTML file. And so let's take this out, and let's talk about the best practice of styling. Okay, let's get started learning the best practice for using CSS to style your HTML. And I have created here in the CSS introduction folder a empty file called styles.css. And so you can see here in Text Wrangler, I have index.html and styles.css. I don't have anything in there yet. We'll put that in a minute. But what I need to do now is to let my HTML document know that there is a style sheet external to it. And the way I do that is I create a link. And we first identify the kind of link. This is a style sheet. And the type is text, CSS code, and then a reference to where this can be found. And ours is in the at the same level in the subdirectory. So styles.css, and then I close that link tag. Now if I run it, now nothing is going to change because I haven't put anything in the style sheet. Okay, now I see an error, and this is not style sheet but styles sheet, and that's what I called it. And if we save this and run it, of course nothing is going to change. So let's go into our styles sheet and let's give ourselves a little space, and let's put in some CSS code. And I'm going to write H1, put my curly braces, put color, colon, red, semicolon, close it off with the curly braces, save it, come back over here to my web page and run it, and you can see that it turned CSS to red. So there you have how to add CSS styling 3 ways: inline, in file, and then referencing an external file.